watch this on the replay. So we got that going now. So thank you so much for joining us for this Happy Juice Happy Hour. What this is all about is really just setting you up to use and get the most out of your Happy Juice samples, tell you a little bit more about what the products can do. And really, my goal for you today is just to know exactly what to do to get the mix together the way you like it. And then hopefully after this, you're going to walk away with tools to have the best summer, and that's going to carry you on right into the school year. So it's not just, we're going to have a little like full cup today, that you're going to have that cup just overflowing into the rest of the year. So we are going to just dive right in. I shared this a little bit earlier, but if you can stick around to the end, I've got a giveaway for 5-day supply of energy that I'll be giving away for one of you just for joining live. So appreciate you being here. Okay, so I want to introduce myself first and foremost. I know a few of you know me well, Beth and Sarah, but Zena, we are meeting for the first time. And so, hello, my name is Brandy Zuger. And really, I am just all about living a best life, bringing the joy on all fronts. And it's really been an evolution. So you'll see here in my description of myself, I'm an Enneagram 9, and I don't know if any of you are Enneagram fans, but the Enneagram 9 is the people pleaser, right? We're just like kumbaya, right? We just want it to be warm and fuzzy. Does everybody feel included, right? We're thinking about other people a lot of the times. And I actually spent a huge chunk of my life being a major people pleaser. And it's really kind of been in this second half of my life. And as I've started to really kind of hit my own strides with health and wellness, that it's like, all right, I feel like I'm finally coming into my own, which if you feel that way too, I'd love to have you drop a 1 in the chat box to just kind of see where you're at with that too. But it's like, oh my gosh, this getting better with age is a real thing for me. And I feel like through that process, there's really been a lot I've learned about what my body needs to help support the woman I want to be physically, mentally, spiritually, like in all the places. So it's been a really big learning curve. So I do work full time. So I'm a STEM education consultant by trade, but I'm just really passionate about health and wellness. And that's what led me to Amare. We actually first found Amare through my husband. And then I came to finally find out about it for myself a few years later, which I'm going to share that story just here in a second. So I'm a farm girl through and through. I come from Nebraska, from the Midwest originally, and I've now found myself out here in Washington State. And like I said, my biggest passion is just equipping moms specifically and families really to just show up with joy and thrive. The world be crazy, y'all. The world be crazy. And we just can't have that raining on your parade. So that's what I'm all about. And hopefully you can get to know me a little bit better as we head through this talk today. So like I said, I want to share just a little bit before we dive into the products and mixing your happy juice. I want to talk a little bit about how I got started, because I think this is an important part to understand, especially because as women, very often we sort of put ourselves on the back burner. And especially because I know you've all shared that you're moms, that's really easy to kind of lose ourselves as we head into motherhood. And I actually feel like our culture and just how we do things here in America kind of lends towards that, right? We're like, it's time to be sacrificial, right? It's time to go, 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 give everything to the kids. And a lot of times we sort of lose ourselves. Like I shared, my journey started with my husband actually finding Amare first, or I guess I found Amare for him. He had debilitating heartburn. I'm talking about like every single day. And really when we got married, I didn't understand it. He didn't talk to me a lot about it. And I just was like, this is just who he is. This is just how he feels. And he wasn't communicating that to me very well until I started to really understand how much it was impacting him all the time. He shared with me while we were searching for solutions, like, for instance, he's like, I don't think I've had like a normal full week of bowel movements since I was 16. And I'm like, what? Like, we aren't concerned about that? He had heartburn. He wasn't sleeping. He was in a super stressful job. He had tons of anxiety, which come to find out, He was not calling it anxiety. He was like, I'm fine, it's fine. But we ended up taking him to the emergency room 2 times because he thought he was having a heart attack. And it turns out it was a panic attack. So all through this, we did colonoscopies, we did stress tests, he had his gallbladder taken out, like we did all these different things. And nothing was helping. He was not feeling any better. He was like, I'm still taking my antacids. I don't feel better. I'm not sleeping. This is barely like managing how I feel. So that's when I finally went down the rabbit hole of like, what else is there out there? And a friend introduced us to Amare, and she explained it so beautifully to us that she was essentially like, thinking about his anxiety. She goes, how often, right, do you have a gut feeling that you're like, oh, that just doesn't feel right? Or, when you're anxious or nervous, your gut starts to turn over. She's like, now imagine if your gut is churning and turning all the time, how that impacts every area of your life. So that led him to a health and wellness journey, and we got him on Amare's products. Where it came into my life was in 2020. And y'all, things in life were just super crazy. You were there. And I'm like, I'm not an anxious person. I feel great. I have energy. I poop every day normally, like most people do, I'm sure. And I felt incredible until 2020. And all of a sudden I started experiencing things where I was like, if maybe I had to describe what I thought anxiety felt like, I think I would be having that. I think I'm having the anxiety thing people talk about. And I started getting into this place where I was working, and now all of a sudden my kids are home and there's like this uncertainty feeling all around, that all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I think I need to do something. Like I'm having a hard time getting out of bed. And, what is this? I don't think I should feel this way. And really where it kind of took me to realize is that for a long time, I'd kind of been living in this cycle of despair that I don't think a lot of people talk about, but I think is highly relatable for us as women, where we kind of go through this process of beating ourselves up, going through struggles. We push through because that's what we have to do as moms. You may specifically even think of this for maybe it's your physical health that you're going through. Maybe you're beating yourself up for the type of mom that you are. Maybe it's something to do with work. But we kind of then, go through this stressful period where there's the trigger that we're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming and irritating. We find a temporary relief. A lot of times, again, this can be, oh, I'm just going to have a beer, or I just need to go out with my friends. I need a break from my kids. You unplug with Netflix, you scroll on your phone, right? You're like, I'm just going to sit down and unplug. And then all of a sudden you and your husband are in bed and it's 2 hours later and you're like, we should go to bed. My eyeballs hurt. But that's your unwind time, right? So you have that negative consequence, right? From that temporary relief, there's a hangover or inflammation from the alcohol. You had 5 more cookies than you wish you would have. You're mad because you bought stuff you didn't really need, right? And then you head into that shame and guilt. Insert massive change, right? Where you're like, I'm done. I'm quitting alcohol. I'm going on an elimination food diet. Today is the day I'm going to start a new parenting technique, right? And I think so often as women, right, we find ourselves in that cycle of despair where I equate it to, like, for me, it always felt like, well, I'm falling off the wagon and then getting back on the wagon, right? And this is kind of just like a cultural thing that happens in America a lot of times, right? And I know for me, at least, I was always feeling like, I just want to be done with feeling like I'm constantly starting over. And I just want to have this like consistency to the person that I want to be. So enter in this conversation about what is happy, finding Amare's happy juice, and really kind of starting to plug into this idea about having this like higher consistency in how we feel every day, right? Moving from the surviving point, which is exactly where I felt, after kids, it was like, well, it's fine. Everybody's tired and that's fine because we're all moms. And this is just what being a mom feels like, right? We're having sleepless nights. We feel run down. We're, irritable at the end of the day. We don't want anybody touching us. Like, to me, I just genuinely thought that that's what motherhood was. So going from what I now know is that's surviving, right? That's a surviving feeling. Same with 2020, when I started experiencing like that massive anxiety, I was having such massive burnout. That was surviving. To how do we move to a place of thriving, right? And what is that actual happiness going to feel like? And happy really is, it's a subjective well-being, right? Happy is going to feel different for every single one of us. But it really comes down to how satisfied are you with your life, right? Like, is it like this is good enough, this is okay? Are there, brief moments of like, oh, I'm loving this, followed by like deep pits of like, this is so hard. And really thinking about how much positive or negative emotion you tend to feel. So for me, that looks like showing up for myself. I really come to realize that a lot of my frustration, a lot of my unhappiness, a lot of my survival was because I was just constantly like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And I'm going to do this tomorrow and I'm going to get to that. And I was procrastinating. I was overwhelmed. I was, trying to do a diet. And then 20 days later, I was binging cookies. All of these things that I realized, like, I just wasn't showing up for myself consistently. So to me, it's showing up to my family with joy, with gratitude, with love, nourishing my body well, being consistent in the things I say I'm going to do, and just moving towards that best self. Here's where Happy Juice comes into play, and those little products that you got in the mail, which hopefully you have your Happy Juice products with you. But if not, don't worry, because we're going to talk about what to do if they haven't quite arrived in the mail yet and how you can go ahead and use these. The cool thing about what Abare has done with these 3 products is they've really kind of targeted the key areas that, especially as women, right? And this is great for men too. I don't want to count them out, but I just feel like as women, we experience a very unique mental and physical burnout combination that just men oftentimes don't quite have to deal with. And these 3 products get to the root in all those areas. So I'm actually going to go from the end of this forward and talk about Mentabiotics first. So Mentabiotics is a powder. You didn't receive Mentabiotics in your sample, and here's why. The 2 things you did receive are Edge and Energy. These products give it the taste. So they're going to give you some good gut health, but they're what give it taste. Mentabiotics, it kind of has like a light earthy taste, right? It doesn't taste. It's not flavorful. And because it comes in the canister, it's just also not really keen to like throw in the mail to somebody. So you receive the 2 things that give it the taste. But Mentabiotics, what that does is it actually gets to the root in your gut of helping your body with stress resiliency. And essentially what stress resiliency is it's your body's ability to better handle when life throws you life. And it does this by repopulating your gut with little bugs, essentially, that are going to help send better signals throughout your brain and body to your hormones, to your metabolism. It's going to give, the serotonin, right, that we want, for GABA, for mood and calmness. It's going to increase all of those while also simultaneously getting rid of a lot of the gut microbiome that we don't want, right? Those things that we now know, like your gut really impacts your cravings, right? It's not just you, it's not just in your head, it's not just your willpower. Your gut is really attached to that as well. So that's one of the incredible products. And then Energy, of course, this is going to help with both physical and mental energy. So for anybody that's ever, had 3 cups of coffee in the afternoon, or you've reached for the Red Bull, or you've done Spark or something like that, what caffeine is giving you, right? Caffeine is giving you this mental type, physical type jitter, right? Where you're like, I don't know, this is a very distinct feeling for me, but when I have too much coffee and I haven't had enough food, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a lot of things to do. Okay, I'm going to do this. And everything feels very high strung, and I'm moving quickly and I'm thinking a lot, but it's not like I know where to start or how to move through those things, right? Caffeine gives us this really high strung feeling. And then the thing is, we come off it and we crash, and then we need some more coffee. And that's kind of what that looks like. What Energy is going to do is it's actually going to populate in your gut, signaling to help you have improved stamina mentally and physically. So it's not going to be one of those things where you go up and you come down and you go up, right? It's literally repopulating your gut, giving you that gut bacteria to sustain that. So the longer you take these products, the better you're going to feel. And then Edge is going to help with dopamine for motivation and drive. So you're kind of getting all those pieces, and all mixed together, it equals Happy Juice. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and talk about just really quickly what that's going to feel like for you. And again, this is so specific, and I'm really talking from a standpoint of a mother, because I think we all know what this feels like is when you grab these products, right? It's going to help you handle things better. I don't know about you guys, but I have had those instances, right, where you're like trying to get things done through your day and those kids come in, or something crops up in your life and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my ish. with stress resiliency, when you actually start at that gut level, you are going to be able to roll with things much better. And if things start piling up, right, you're going to reach for your happy juice, because this is now the tool in your toolkit to help you, like, okay, we just need to breathe through this a little bit more. You're going to be both relaxed and alert, which is such a cool thing. If anybody's ever been on anxiety medication before, right, this is something I hear so often from people that are taking anxiety medications, which I think is great. I am all the biggest believer for do what makes you feel how you want to feel. But as I've talked with people that want a more natural route, something I've oftentimes hear is they love how it supports, reducing their anxious feelings. They hate how it kind of numbs them out a little bit. This is going to give you both a relaxed and a alert feeling, right? So it's kind of that, like, oh, I'm in the zone, right? Decrease irritability and improve mood state. And then again, all day physical and mental energy as well. So here is the cool thing. You all likely received Grape Edge, because this is our little travel size pack, and then the Dragon Fruit Energy. But as you can see on the screen, we have 2 flavors of energy and 2 flavors of Edge. So we have a Watermelon Edge, which, just so you know, is out of stock right now, and Grape Edge available, and then Dragon Fruit Energy and Pomegranate Lime Energy. You can mix and match them any way you want. Here's how I recommend. So let's talk about the mixology a little bit. If you have your product, you're welcome to join me right now and mix them up. But I would save them for the morning. I'm just going to tell you, drink them mid-morning. If you got really excited and you just mix them as soon as they came in the mail, that's okay too. Like, I get it. Like, I get excited when things get in the mail. I like mine best with anywhere from like 16 to 20 ounces of water. But here's the thing. I love to say this, there's no right or wrong way. It really is just what you like best. So you're going to mix up your water, and then all you're going to do with your products, right, is you're going to snip off the tops of these 2 things, and you're going to dump them in your glass. You're going to mix it up, and you're going to enjoy it. It's as easy as that. Here's the thing that I love to provide as tips is a lot of times new customers ask me, when should I take it? When's the right time to take my happy juice? Play around with it. So what I always like to tell people is kind of look at your day and see, like, when you need to be at your best. For me, that's, again, I work. Mine is usually about like mid to early morning. So my mornings go great. Then I get to my computer, I'm checking emails. That's real simple. But right around 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm going to have to start taking meetings. I'm going to have to start looking at spreadsheets. I'm going to need to kind of engage a next level of my brain. And that's when it's like, all right, friend, let's go to work. But some people I know wake up and they take it first thing in the morning as a pre-workout, right? They love it to just get their day going before they go do their workout. Some folks like to take it a little bit closer to lunch. There's people that take it before breakfast, after breakfast. What's going to make the most sense is actually you playing around with it to see when it gives you the most support that you need. The other cool thing is these 2 products, right? So I talked about the Mentabiotics and then Edge and Energy. These 2 products you can take additional servings of. So when I first started, 2020, Brandy is not feeling good. She does not want to get out of bed. She is super anxious, and she's never felt that way before. I was taking like 3 of these a day because I was on the struggle bus. Big. Most people, right? Most people are going to feel the difference with just once a day. What I always tell everybody is sometimes you have this little like, oh, I don't need to take too much, right? We know with coffee, you don't want to have too many cups of coffee per day, right? We know that now. Same with energy drinks, or if you're a soda drinker, right? You're like, oh yeah, like I don't want to drink too much of that. These are gut health, right? This is not caffeine. This is not soda. This is gut health. And what I always like to remind you of is if you feel like you're like, oh, I'm just like dragging this afternoon, that's your body telling you something, right? You probably either need more water, more protein, or you just need a little pick-me-up, and this is going to give you that. So feel free that if you want to take additional servings of Energy and Edge, this is going to be something that you're going to just have for a tool in your toolkit. And then ultimately, you're going to not need it multiple times a day, right? I've gotten to the point where 1 happy juice a day, I am good to go. I feel energetic all day. I've been up since 7 on a 6-hour symposium online, and I'm like, I feel great, and I'm going to go do a workout after this. I want you to feel like that too. The other thing I want to point out is when you get your first order. So if you decide after you've tried your happy juice that you're like, all right, I liked that. And I want some more of this stuff that she's talking about where I can feel really good. It comes in this great little box for your first order that literally has everything in it. Sorry, my edge I took out, but and then it's got instructions for everything. It's real easy. After your first order, you're going to get it in an eco-friendly pack, so you won't get this beautiful box every single time. But it literally just has like how to mix your happy juice right there. So making it super easy to use. I went ahead here on these last couple slides and just shared a couple little testimonials that I've gotten personally from some customers that always just make me smile really big. I find often, and again, I don't know if this is just us as moms and we kind of put ourselves second. A lot of times, right, as mothers, we kind of struggle to take that investment in ourselves, and we're like, we're fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad. And some of these testimonies go and kind of speak to that as well. Like, holy cow, I didn't know I could feel better. I didn't know that what I was experiencing wasn't just the byproduct of being a mom or the byproduct of my age, that it actually is something that this is a physical signal and we can do something by improving our gut health. Okay, so with that, that's all I got for today. It's that simple. You're just gonna mix it up. So like I said, I recommend you get started with tomorrow. And then we get to do a little drawing here today to see who's going to get 5-day supply of energy. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. So what I'm going to do is I've got a little random name generator. So while you sit here tight online, I'm going to pull that up. And then if you have any questions about Happy Juice or Amare or any of the products, while I'm pulling this up, I would love for you to either just drop those in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself. And we can answer any questions before I let you ladies get back to your lives.
Hey, Brandy, I have a question. I put it in the chat, but I thought I'd just ask you. What do you do for, like, right now I take a greens type of mix.
Love it.
Do you do anything? Do they have anything like that? Or what do you do for that kind of health supplement?
Great question. So Amari does have, it's called Super Greens. So we have a greens product. I would say I on and off mix greens with, actually just mix it in my Happy Juice. I'm a big believer in also getting as much as you can, right, from just the veggies and the fruits that you have around you. But if you're someone that really loves to supplement and pull that in, and I do, I mix it in my kids' smoothies. I actually probably use it for my kids more than I use it for me. Because it's like this appleberry flavor, and you can throw it in their smoothies and they just have no idea that it's in there, and it's awesome. But yes, I think greens are incredible. I think it's a really incredible way to get them in if that's something that just feels like is missing or just hard to squeeze in. And we do have an option for that as well. And it actually tastes really good with Happy Juice. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to scroll through because I didn't have my chat open, and now I see that I'm seeing this all in here. Sarah, I love that. Feedback on where you're doing it. Yes. Love knowing that you're getting enough, right? Like that's the great thing. I'm a big believer. I love magnesium too. I just think magnesium is one of the most underestimated minerals, and that oftentimes as women we're deficient in that. And I'm like a big believer. I'm like, I just want to know that I'm getting it. So I love that. Okay. I have got all your names entered into my wheel of luck here, ladies. And Beth, you're going to get some extra energy in the mail, my friend. So I'll message you. I'll message you and let you know if you want to do dragon fruit, or if you want to do some more of the pomegranate, or do some pomegranate live. So yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that you all were able to join live. Zena, it was awesome to have you here and get to meet you as well. And I know we had another gal on here. She looks like she maybe had to hop off. Here's the deal. You now know how to use it. You know what you're going to get out of it. You know how you can hopefully get more out of it and use it as a tool. What I always like to say is, like, there's a million ways to feel better. That's just the way it is. There's a million ways to feel better. What's so awesome about this is it's going to help you just like build that bridge a little bit faster. Gut health. I am just the biggest believer in what really incredible gut health can do to change your life. And that's what this is, right? Like it's getting at the root cause of all that. So if you have any questions, I hope you will reach out to the person that invited you, or you can reach out to me. I would just be happy and love to connect with us on this more. But thank you for being here and enjoy your happy juice. So definitely also keep us posted as you give it a try, and we're anxious to hear how you like it. So
Thanks,
cool.
Brandy.
Yes, I'll reach out, Beth. We'll chat some more.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Have a good night, ladies.
Bye.